Hey, this is Deanna Inspires. This is Inspired Perspectives. Welcome to my channel. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. And today's topic, we're here to motivate and inspire. So, that's what it's about, inspired perspectives. And we're here to talk about, clapping for yourself. So, I know a lot of people, when they accomplish something or they want a little cheerleading crowd around them and all of that because they're doing something great. Let me tell you, some people will never clap for you, and you're going to have to clap for yourself. It's inevitable. You're going to have to clap for yourself at all costs. Even when people are clapping for you, it's okay. Clap for yourself. I said, because, you know, people people won't show up always for you. People have a level of envy, a level of jealousy, a level of, I didn't do everything I needed to do. How did they get there? How did they do that? I don't understand. How did they do that? Because they came from this place and their mama and daddy was doing that thing. And they were living in that house on that neighborhood down that street in with those people. How? How did they do that? How did they pass me? Because they're not supposed to be as successful as they are. And those people will never show up. They will always be jealous. They will always be whatever they're going to be. You know why? Because you were hungry. You were hungry for whatever it was that you set your sights on. And guess what? They were not. They were not, because sometimes when you have it too easy, you don't always get hungry enough because it came too easy for you. You didn't have to pray. You didn't have to get on your face. You didn't have to yell. You didn't have to cry. You didn't have to scream. You didn't have to you just wonder, why is this happening to me? It's happening for you. And so it's a perspective thing. It's happening for you. And when you understand, when you're going through those moments, and it's the valley moments, it's the moments when you're gathering all the wisdom and knowledge and skills and things to get back out there or get out there for the first time. You, in that moment, you are going to utilize everything that in the valley that you had to gather to shoot you to the moon, baby. You got to do everything in that valley to climb the mountain, because it's gonna be tiring going up that mountain, but you're gonna have everything you need to get up there during the climb. Understand me. And they're gonna be sitting back on the sidelines in the stands somewhere, wondering how you do it. How did you do that? Because you were willing to do everything they weren't willing to do. Successful people are willing to do everything that you are not willing to do. That outside of those who the trust fund babies or whatever, they usually gonna run through their money or do bad things. They're gonna do something, but it ain't gonna be it's not gonna always be that. People who are hungry had, usually generally speaking, had absolutely nothing, and so all they got is up. All they got is up, baby. All they got is up. And so they don't have a problem failing, and they don't have a problem getting back up and then failing again. Getting back up, succeeding, fail again. Get back up, succeed, fail again. Learn the lesson, and then they get back up, because it was always something. When you go to the next level, it's always something else you got to learn. And you may drop down a couple of steps, and then you got to go back up 10 more steps. You drop back down two, go back. Success is a zigzag line, and it'll drive you crazy, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. And a lot of people are wondering, like, why, how you do that? How she do that? How he do that? I did it. I did it because I wasn't afraid. I did it afraid, and I did it anyway. And I jumped. I tried it. Even if it failed, I tried it anyway. And that's where you start clapping for yourself, because sometimes it'll be family, it'll be your own people. Because what they do is reduce you down to the little person that you were growing up, or the preteen, or the teenager, or the young adult who made a lot of mistakes, or they didn't have any hope for, because they already prescribed who you were going to be based on how they knew you then, and never asked you a single question. If you want to talk about communication, go to my other video, and it talks about everything I'm mentioning now about communicating with with your children and your nieces and nephews and friends. And you got to communicate to know where these people are going and what's in their head and where they want to go so you can help them get there. So anyway, I digress. Now, these people have reduced you to these little entities, and that's where they have arrested in their development of you. You haven't arrested your development. You have grown into everything you needed to be, right? And everything you got in the knowledge and the skills, and now you are moving and moving mountains. You're climbing mountains and moving them and knocking things down, kicking in doors, and they're wondering how, how, because you were willing to do everything nobody else was willing to do. You were willing to stay up late at night to read that book, books about success. You were willing to read business books. You were doing podcasts, listening to podcasts, listening to audio books. You were writing notes. You were going to seminars. You were doing everything. You were taking extra classes. Whether you were advancing your career, you were doing everything you could do to get that business off the ground. You had a storefront, you got to get it. You got an online store, you got to get it. You are doing everything you need to do. And these people are wondering why, and they're not clapping for you. They're not clapping for you because they're not willing to do everything you were willing to do. And this is the reason why. So, what you got to do is clap for yourself. And don't worry about these people. Don't worry about nobody. Because when at the end, you may have to have a new set of friends to be able to clap, because more than likely those new set of friends are in the same predicament that you're in, that they have nobody clapping for you, but guess what, y'all can clap for one another. That doesn't mean you put aside those other friends. Maybe someone out of that bunch finally gets it, and then they start to reach up to you and say, hey, can you help me, because I see what you're doing. I need some help because I got this idea, and they've been working behind the scenes trying to get things together to present it to you. When they're reaching up, you can don't mind reaching down to them to bring them up, because they want it. Now you got to see if they want it as bad as they're breathing. Now it's up to you. You don't spin your wheels trying to make people be what they're not, but you are supposed to make sure that you hear them out, and you want to make sure that you see what they're about. You using your gifts and your talents that you were given. You're willing to take all the risk, and some people aren't. I had a friend who didn't think that I deserved what I deserved, because of what they thought of me in my childhood. Not that I did anything bad, but I didn't live where she lived. You know, I didn't live where they lived. I had family, my mother and father, my grandma, my on both sides at that time were living. I didn't know that I didn't have any money, because you know what? I had love. I was fed every day. I had clean clothes. I had a clean house. Everything I needed. I know that the Most High provided for me everything I needed. So I was enough. I was enough. And so because I had that mentality in me, I didn't I didn't have anybody tell me no. There was nobody telling me no, that you can't do a thing. So I'm able to move and make moves and clap for myself. I learned back then that I didn't need you to clap for me. So when this person confronted me later on in our adult life, they were like, how did you do it? I didn't think you were going to succeed. I was like, oh my goodness. That right there was like, whoa, you didn't think me? You need to think again. See, my confidence is there, not my arrogance. I didn't operate in my ego. It was the confidence of knowing that who I am and whose I am. I was like, me? Okay, I see how you see me. So now I have to move differently with this person, because now I have to move in silence, because I can't share things with them because envy and jealousy has set in. You're not willing to do the work that I'm doing. You're not up at night reading books. I'm not at the club. I wasn't at the whatever. I missed out on a lot of stuff. I did do some things. I was young, but I was not in the club. I was somewhere hidden away in my bed reading a book. You know, and these were the things that I did in secret to build myself mentally. Building mental toughness, not losing my femininity, but building my mental toughness to be able to endure when things fail, when things, when I succeed, when I'm able to clap for myself, when I'm able to, I can take when somebody doesn't show up for me. I can take that kind of thing that happens. Same person when when I wrote my book, they were they stayed for a hot second. I had to think about it. They stayed for a hot minute, knowing that this was planned, and did not blink an eye. Like, I gotta go. All right, I'll talk to you later. I'm really hungry, and I had food there. So that's when you know. I said, okay, all right. The second time, right? Three strikes you out. So now you 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 can't celebrate my wins with me, and you call yourself friend. Clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. And you will find people that will be drawn to you who are in alignment with what you're doing. Don't worry about these people. Don't worry about these people who have called you friend. I have to actually rearrange my friendship circle and put people on the outer circle. They're no longer in the inner circle. Now that doesn't mean, it's just maybe they'll come back in the inner circle during a different season, but right now this is not the season. This is not the season, and I believe the Most High is shaking the tree loose of a lot of things and rearranging things. I know in my life, and I'm sure in your life, and this is the things that we have to kind of come to terms with. So guess what? I clap for myself. I don't need any of the accolades. And when you need that, then you're operating out of your ego. You're operating out of lack. And that's not what we need. You need to clap for yourself, baby. Clap for yourself, because if you wait for other people to show up, you be standing there a mess. You be standing there waiting and waiting and waiting, because jealousy and envy sets in like no other. So I want you to take the time and know that you're doing the right thing. You're in alignment. Keep striving. Keep reading your books. Keep doing the audio. Keep taking the classes. Going to the seminars. Doing what you got to do to elevate. Do what you got to do to make it happen for you. And the people that's supposed to be around you will help elevate you, because you will elevate them. And that's where your iron is sharpening iron. And the right people will clap for you, and you won't even be asking for it. You won't even be looking for it. But clap for yourself. This is Deanna, and this is Inspired Perspectives. Hit the like button. I'm continuing to motivate you. Come on back, baby.